Hey guys, Kevin here. I apologise, it has been about a week since I've published a video. I was at a conference at the weekend in Edinburgh, and whenever I've got these conferences, it's always like, I need to prepare my bag, I need to do a lot of other work that I would normally do at the weekend, and I'm busy before the conference, I'm busy at the conference, and then I'm always playing catch up when I come back. But during that time, I'll always try and read Engadget and read all these other tech kind of websites, to pass the time. And there's been a lot of stories, as they always, there's lots of stories every day, but the one that's kind of piqued my interest over the last week has been about the Nokia 8. Now, the Nokia 8 is apparently going to be out on August 16th. It's going to be announced on that date. Now, at this point, the specs are out, but they're rumoured specs. So there's no 100% guarantee that all these specs are correct. But, within the tech world, when you're talking like 2 or 3 weeks before it comes out, 99 times out of 100, the specs are nearly always correct. They're talking about a Snapdragon 835, 4 or 6 gigabytes of RAM, 64 gigabytes of storage, and there'll be dual SIM models. Now, the key thing here about this phone, the key selling point, apart from it being from, the Nokia brand, is that it's got the Carl Zeiss optics. So it's got a Carl Zeiss lens at the back and the front too, I assume. And this is a big deal in my opinion, because nearly all the Android, top-end flagship phones have got the same Snapdragon CPU in it, same graphics chipset. There are slight differences with certain phones having wireless charging, others don't, headphone jack or not, waterproofing or not, things like that. There's always slight differences whether it's got a micro SD card and things like that. But the biggest difference between top-end phones is really the camera. It's what is selling top-end smartphones, and quite frankly, if you don't need a top-end smartphone camera or anything with good photo and video capabilities, then you shouldn't be buying a flagship. You should probably just be buying a mid-range phone, a solid mid-range Android phone that has 3 or 4 gigabytes of RAM. Save yourself a huge amount of money. So let's take a quick look at the rumoured specs, which I think will be correct, and we'll just run through what the phone will offer. So this is the specs according to GSM Arena, and I'll just scroll down, I'll just go through some of these specs. So you can see it's going to have an IPS LCD screen, 5.3 inches. It will be a 1440p display, 554 pixels per inch. It will have Gorilla Glass 5 standard, Android 7.11. It's got the 835 Snapdragon CPU, octa-core. Right, okay, so we'll have micro SD up to 256 gigabytes, uses the second SIM slot, 4 or 6 gigabytes of RAM, and it will have 64 gigabytes of storage or 128 gigabytes of storage. Okay, so this is the camera section, and the camera section is, as I said, it will be the main factor in whether people buy this phone or not. The primary camera is a dual 13 megapixel Carl Zeiss optics. The secondary camera, which is the selfie camera, will be 12 megapixels. It can record 4K at 30 frames per second and 1080p at 30 frames per second. And it does have a 3.5mm headphone jack, and it has active noise cancellation with a dedicated mic. It's got fingerprint sensor, which is kind of standard now, and it will retail for around €600, and of course it's Type-C. So a lot of those features are kind of par for the course for a flagship Android phone. The key thing really is the camera, but it's good to see that it has a headphone jack, it has a micro SD slot, it has it has everything you would expect. 1440p, Gorilla Glass 5, thanks. I mean, a lot of the specs are the same as what I'd get on my HTC U11, but the camera is really what's going to sell this. It really is. So I'm really keen to see how this, how this is received. Whether I buy it or not, looking at the specs anyway, it would be kind of like a sidestep for me, so it wouldn't be a major upgrade. And it is important to note as well, we've got the Google Pixel 2017 coming out within the next few months. That is rumoured to have the Snapdragon 836, which apparently is a little bit faster, maybe a little bit more efficient as well, but I think it's just a little bit faster. But the Google Pixel will probably be a lot more expensive as well, maybe another $100 or $200 or pounds, whatever, or euros, depending what region you're in. So I think from a specification point of view, it seems to be alongside the HTC U11, the Samsung S8 and things like that. But it is coming out a few months later. But I think the Nokia brand will hopefully, still be a contender. I think it's good that there's more competition in the smartphone range. And Carl Zeiss optics in the past, they nearly always were really good sensors. So fingers crossed. I think fingers crossed it's a really good phone. I really do hope they produce something good from a camera point of view. The thing is, even if I don't buy this phone, even if you guys don't buy this phone, what it will do is push the level ahead, push the line so that everyone else needs to step up and then start producing better cameras on their phones as well. So I think at the end of the day, we'll all win whether you buy this phone or not. And as I said, I do think it's good that there's another big contender, especially someone like Nokia coming back into the field. Let me know what you guys think about this phone. I'd love to hear your opinion on it. Do you think this is a phone you would buy if you're on the lookout for a new phone? Let me know in the comment area. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.